Have you ever felt a pull inside you that you can't name? A craving that gnaws at your bones and whispers that you are not enough. It is not just hunger, not just desire. It is a voice, sharp and relentless, demanding attention, dragging you through fire and shadow. You fight it, you numb it, you hide from it. And yet, it always finds you. It lives in your veins, your thoughts, your restless nights. It feels like a curse, a chain you cannot break. But what if it is not a curse at all? What if this hunger, this torment is speaking to you, calling you towards something greater than the fear that traps you? You look at yourself in the mirror and see flaws, mistakes, shame piled like stones in your chest. You tell yourself you are weak, that you are broken, that you will never rise above this. The addiction, the obsession, the compulsions, they feel like proof that you are trapped. And yet, even in the darkest corner of that self-loathing, there is a flicker, a silent question that asks, what is this teaching me? What is it showing me about who I am? Most ignore it, most turn away, but the ones who listen, they begin to hear a strange truth. The truth is that suffering is not random. Pain does not strike without reason. The cravings, the repetitions, the self-destruction, they are a mirror, a message written in the language of your soul. You feel broken because you are being invited to look deeper. You feel lost because you are being called to find a path that is invisible to the ordinary eye. Each urge, each relapse, each moment of despair is not a failure. It is a signal, a crack in the facade, a point where the veil between your pain and understanding becomes thin. And this is where the tension lives, the part that no one tells you. It is not about resisting, not about fighting. It is about listening. Every heartbeat of your addiction, every tremor of your obsession, every whisper of craving, it carries information. It tells you what you fear, what you avoid, what you deny. You think you are drowning, but perhaps you are floating in a river that is leading you somewhere necessary, somewhere transformative. It is terrifying, it is raw, it is unrelenting. And that is precisely why it matters. You have been trained to see these moments as shameful, as mistakes to erase, as weaknesses to hide. But they are not. They are your teachers, your guides. They are the hidden hands reaching out through the chaos, offering you a map that is written in symbols, in repetition, in craving. The language is strange, but it is clear if you pay attention. Listen to the silence that follows the high. Watch the patterns that repeat like shadows in the night. Feel the weight of the void without turning away. In the refusal to escape, in the surrender to awareness, something begins to shift. The gnawing inside you, the endless yearning, it begins to carry meaning. You begin to see that the darkness is not your enemy. It is a doorway. The voice that you once tried to silence, that you once fought against with all your strength, becomes a guide. Every pain, every loss, every compulsion is a punctuation in a story you have yet to understand. The hunger that once consumed you now points towards something vital, a deeper clarity that you cannot reach through comfort or avoidance. And the revelation is simple, though it feels impossible. What you feared as weakness is the key to awakening. The very thing you despised, the thing you tried to escape, is what can teach you the most profound truths about yourself. And in that recognition, the first real shift begins. A trembling understanding that your suffering is not meaningless, that every craving, every fall, every restless night carries a message, a whisper from something far greater than your fear. You are not simply trapped in this loop. You are being spoken to in the only language that will break through the walls you have built. If you can hear it, if you can lean into it instead of fleeing, a door opens, and beyond that door lies a clarity you have never known, a freedom you could not have imagined, a gift that only the chosen can recognize. The journey is not easy, but it is yours, and it begins in the moment you stop running. The weight of your cravings is heavier than any burden you have carried. It presses on your chest, bends your spine, steals your breath. You feel powerless. You feel small. You feel like the world is moving forward while you are stuck, caught in a cycle that refuses to release you. Every attempt to escape ends the same way: failure, shame, despair. And yet, there is something stirring beneath the surface, something unspoken, something alive in the darkness. It whispers that this struggle is not the end, that this torment is not the definition of you, that there is a purpose hidden in the ache, a meaning wrapped inside the chaos you endure. You have been running from yourself for so long that the very thought of facing what lies beneath scares you. But here is the truth. Hiding never heals. Numbing never frees. Running never changes what is real. The craving you feel, the obsession that consumes you, the self-destructive impulses that terrorize your mind, they are mirrors. They reflect the parts of you that have been ignored, denied, abandoned. Every restless night, every surge of need, every moment of panic, they are pointing you toward what you must see, what you must acknowledge. Ignoring them only deepens the wound. Facing them, daring to stare into the storm, that is where transformation begins. Feel the tension tightening inside you. That is not weakness. That is life, raw and unfiltered. That is the universe reaching in, shaking you awake, forcing you to reckon with what you have hidden from yourself. You think you are at the bottom, but what you call bottom is merely the edge of awareness. Beyond it lies something you have not dared to touch: understanding, clarity, truth. Each craving, each relapse, each moment of despair is a key. It unlocks a door you didn't know existed, a door that opens not to comfort, but to something far greater, an awakening that only comes to those who endure the fire and do not turn away. Do not mistake this for gentleness. This is not a journey of ease. It is brutal. It demands courage you didn't know you had. It requires you to sit with discomfort until it no longer frightens you, to stare at the void until the void answers, to feel every pulse of desire, every surge of shame, every flicker of hopelessness until you recognize them as messengers, not enemies. Each beat of your struggle carries a lesson, a whisper of guidance, a call to rise above the patterns that have chained you for years. The path is jagged, the climb is relentless, but the reward is clarity, insight, and a freedom you have only glimpsed in fleeting moments of hope. Every fiber of your being screams to escape, to numb, to flee. But imagine if, for a single instant, you resisted. Imagine if you leaned into the sensation instead of avoiding it. The panic, the craving, the self-loathing, they transform when met with attention. The very thing that terrifies you, the thing that once dominated your mind, can become the teacher you have been seeking. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not doomed to repeat these cycles forever. The fire you fear is exactly what can forge the strength you have been searching for. The chaos inside you is not the enemy. It is the crucible where your understanding is born. Feel it, the urgency, the rawness, the immediacy. Life will not wait. Time will not pause. Every moment spent in avoidance is a moment lost to awareness. You are at a crossroads, and it is unavoidable. You can continue to drift through the same nights of craving, shame, and emptiness, or you can confront what has been hidden, ignored, feared. The choice is yours, and it is urgent. The messages embedded in your struggle will not linger forever. They demand attention. They demand action. They demand presence. The journey is not comfortable. It is not simple, but it is real. Every ounce of fear, every second of doubt, every flicker of despair has a purpose. It calls you to rise, to notice, to listen. The path forward is forged not in avoidance, but in courage, in confrontation, in surrendering to the truth that your cravings, your obsessions, your addictions, they are not your enemies. They are the language of awakening. They are the hand that reaches through the darkness, pulling you toward clarity. They are the voice telling you that your life, even in its chaos, carries meaning beyond comprehension. And the moment you hear it, The moment you feel it, the moment you respond, you begin to move towards something far greater than fear, far greater than pain, far greater than yourself. You are standing at the edge of something vast, something you cannot yet name, something that both terrifies and beckons. Every craving, every restless night, every moment of desperation has led you here. You feel the pressure building, the urgency pressing against your chest, the impossible weight of knowing you cannot turn back. The familiar ways of coping no longer suffice. The distractions, the escapes, the numbing, they fail, and that failure is the signal, it is the call to awaken. It is the universe reaching in, shaking you awake, demanding that you notice, demanding that you act, demanding that you confront the raw truth of who you are. There is no soft landing here. There is only the choice to face the storm or continue drifting into numbness. Every fiber of your being resists, screams, pleads for avoidance, and yet beneath that resistance, there is a pulse of power, a hidden strength that has been waiting for recognition. It is the same strength that pushes you to survive each day, despite the chaos inside. It is the courage you didn't know you had, embedded in the very act of enduring. The very thing you fear is also the key to unlocking it. The same fire that burns in your cravings can ignite your awakening. The darkness that terrifies you is the doorway you have been seeking. Listen closely. Every surge of desire, every twinge of shame, every relapse is speaking to you in a language your soul understands. It is showing you what you avoid. It is revealing where you hide. It is forcing you to confront the shadows that have controlled you for years. You may feel powerless now, but power is not absence of struggle. Power is leaning into the struggle. Power is standing in the chaos and choosing to see, to understand, to learn. Each moment of discomfort is a teacher. Each night of craving is a lesson. Each wave of self-loathing is a signal. The path forward does not come from running. It comes from paying attention. It comes from listening, daring to listen, and trusting that even in pain there is guidance. Do not deceive yourself into thinking this is optional. Time does not wait. Life does not pause for hesitation. Every moment spent ignoring the messages embedded in your suffering is a moment lost to clarity, a moment lost to growth, a moment lost to awakening. The urgency is real because the opportunity is fleeting. The voice behind the craving will not linger forever. The door will not remain open indefinitely. The choice to step through it, to face the truth and transform, is yours. But it is yours in this moment, now. Waiting will not make it easier. Denial will not soften the fire. Only engagement will lead to revelation. Feel the stakes. This is not a test of comfort. This is a test of presence, a test of courage, a test of whether you will allow your life to be shaped by avoidance or by conscious attention. Each sensation, each longing, each fear is a key, and ignoring it keeps you locked in a cycle that repeats endlessly. Facing it, leaning into it, feeling it fully, is what frees you. It is the act that separates those who remain trapped from those who awaken. There is no other way, no shortcut, no magic. Only presence, only awareness, only willingness to meet your reality without flinching. The transformation begins when you stop resisting, when you stop running, when you accept that the very chaos you have been terrified of contains the clarity you crave. Every craving, every obsession, every moment of self-doubt is an invitation to rise, to understand, to become aware of forces larger than fear. The pain is the messenger. The struggle is the path. The darkness is the guide. And when you finally recognize this, when you finally respond, you will step into a space that feels impossible until you arrive. A space of insight, of freedom, of understanding, of connection to something far greater than the patterns that once enslaved you. You are not a victim of your cravings. You are the chosen recipient of their messages. You are being spoken to. You are being guided. You are being tested, and the moment you choose to hear, to pay attention, to act, you step into the power you have been seeking all along. The moment you lean into the fire instead of fleeing it, the moment you face the chaos instead of hiding from it, you begin to transform. This is not a promise of ease. It is a promise of awakening, a promise that the life buried under craving, under obsession, under fear, is waiting to emerge. And it will, if you have the courage to listen. Every craving, every restless hour, every wave of shame is an invitation you cannot afford to ignore. The urgency is real because the messages buried in your struggle will not wait forever. They are fleeting, hidden in the chaos, revealed only to those who dare to notice. You have been skimming the surface for too long. It is time to dive deep, to descend into the currents of your own mind and confront the forces that have shaped you without your consent. There is no gentleness here, only truth. And truth has a way of cutting through every distraction, every excuse, every story you tell yourself to stay small. The fire you fear is the fire that can forge you. The chaos that terrifies you is the crucible that can awaken you. Every pulse of desire, every surge of panic, every moment of despair is not a signal to escape. It is a signal to engage, to lean in, to pay attention. The very parts of yourself that you have tried to hide, the urges you have tried to silence, the obsessions you have tried to control, they are not your enemies. They are teachers. They are guides. They are whispers from a source far larger than fear, far larger than shame, far larger than your small, self-imposed limitations. You have lived as though your cravings are mistakes, as though your obsessions are weaknesses, as though your failures define you. That belief has kept you trapped. It has made the ordinary nights endless, the days heavy, the mind relentless. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if the very things you despise, the things you fight, the darkness that grips you, they are the keys to your liberation? To ignore them is to stay imprisoned. To face them is to begin the ascent. Each moment you confront the fear, each moment you refuse to flee, each moment you notice without judgment, you step closer to freedom. Feel the stakes rising. The urgency is not abstract, it is immediate. Life is slipping through your fingers with every distraction, every escape, every numbing act. Time does not pause for hesitation. The voice behind the craving will not wait for readiness. It demands presence, it demands attention, it demands courage. Every second of avoidance is a second lost to clarity. Every delay is a delay in transformation. You cannot afford to linger in denial. The path is here, beneath the weight of your fear, waiting for the one who dares to act. Your power has always been inside you, buried beneath the noise, the shame, the repetition. It is awakened not by avoidance, not by distraction, not by numbing. It is awakened by presence, by attention, by the courage to face the fire and let it teach you. You may tremble, you may hesitate, you may feel the panic rise in your chest and the urge to flee claw at your mind. That is natural, that is expected, that is part of the process. Lean into it, meet it head on, do not flinch. The intensity is the language of awakening, and it cannot be ignored. Every lesson, every message, every whisper hidden in your struggle is guiding you towards something greater than yourself. It is shaping you, molding you, carving a path through the chaos. Your cravings are not random. Your obsessions are not meaningless. Your suffering is not accidental. It carries purpose, direction, and insight. And when you begin to listen, truly listen, the world shifts. The heaviness lifts. The despair loosens its grip. You see with clarity what was once invisible. You feel a freedom that has always been possible but never accessible through avoidance. The moment to act is now. The moment to hear, to feel, to recognize, to transform is this one. Lean into your cravings. Face the obsessions. Observe the darkness without judgment. Let it teach you. Let it guide you. Let it awaken you. The chaos inside you is not your enemy. It is the doorway. The pain is not your punishment. It is the message. The struggle is not your failure. It is the path. And when you step through, when you engage with the fire, when you face the storm without turning away, you will emerge with a power, a clarity, a freedom that those who flee will never know. You are not a victim. You are the chosen one of your own awakening. The hand that reaches through the chaos is yours to take. The voice that whispers through the fire is yours to hear. The journey is brutal, it is relentless, it is urgent, but it is real. And it will lead you to a place of understanding, of strength, of freedom, and of connection to something far greater than fear, far greater than pain, far greater than the patterns that once bound you. Step into it. The moment is yours. The power is yours. The awakening begins now. The fire inside you has been calling, whispering, demanding attention, and you can no longer ignore it. Every craving, every surge of obsession, every restless night has been a messenger, and the time to listen is now. You feel the tension in your chest, the racing of your mind, the gnawing of fear and shame. But that tension is not punishment, it is signal. It is the pulse of awakening, vibrating through every fiber of your being, telling you that the ordinary ways of living no longer serve you. You are being tested, not to break you, but to awaken you, not to punish you, but to reveal you. Every pattern you repeat, every impulse you cannot control, every failure you carry, it is not evidence of weakness, it is evidence of necessity. Your soul is demanding recognition. Your mind is pushing for understanding. Your body is screaming for awareness. The cravings you resist are the doorway to clarity. The obsessions you despise are the path to power. The despair you fear is the bridge to insight. To turn away now is to choose numbness. To lean in, to face, to endure is to step into something unimaginable. Something bigger than yourself, something transformative. Feel the stakes rise. Every second spent in avoidance tightens the chains. Every instant of distraction prolongs the pain. Every moment you deny the voice within delays your liberation. The fire will not wait for you to be ready. The doorway will not linger for comfort. The voice will not repeat itself for hesitation. It demands presence. It demands courage. It demands action. You cannot afford to drift any longer. The weight you feel, the ache you carry, the longing that never rests. They are urgent messages, and only engagement will deliver the understanding you crave. Do not underestimate what is inside you. The fear you resist, the shame you hide, the pain you fight. These are the teachers of your awakening. They are relentless because they must be. They cannot be ignored. They will not be softened. They demand confrontation because only through confrontation is transformation possible. You may tremble. You may doubt. You may want to flee. That is natural. That is the test. That is the threshold you must cross. Step forward anyway. Step into the fire. Step into the chaos. Meet it with presence, with attention, with willingness, and watch it become your guide rather than your tormentor. The path is not easy. It is not safe. It is not comfortable. But comfort has never led to awakening. Ease has never birthed insight. The intensity you feel, the urgency that gnaws at your chest, the unrest that haunts your mind, they are the language of awakening. They are the force that compels you to rise above patterns, above fear, above limitations. They are the pulse of something far greater than your small, familiar struggles. They are the heartbeat of clarity, power, and freedom that has been waiting for you all along. Every craving, every moment of doubt, every flicker of despair carries a secret. It shows you what you avoid. It reveals what you deny. It exposes the shadows you have hidden from. Ignoring it is a choice to remain bound. Engaging with it is a choice to rise. It is a choice to step into a larger reality, a deeper understanding, a life unchained from the patterns that have enslaved you. The moment you face the fire, the moment you lean into the chaos, the moment you refuse to flee, you begin to embody the power you have been seeking. Do not wait. Do not falter. Do not tell yourself tomorrow will be easier. Tomorrow is built in the moments of today. Your awakening will not be postponed. Your freedom will not be delayed. The messages in your suffering are urgent, precise, and unstoppable. Hear them, feel them, follow them. They are the hand reaching through the darkness, the voice speaking through the storm, the force that will carry you beyond fear, beyond craving, beyond despair. The chaos is your guide, the pain is your teacher, the struggle is your path. And when you step into it fully, when you embrace it without flinching, you will discover a power, a clarity, a freedom that transforms everything. You are being spoken to. You are being called. The awakening is here, and it begins in this moment.